Right, everybody, we are back and ready to go with Konception's 100th marathon run, Pokemon Pearl Any Manipless. So, Konception, you can take it away whenever you are hardy to party.
I am always hardy to party. That is my secret. Hello, my name is Konception. I hope all of you fellow speedrun enjoyers are having a wonderful day and enjoying weekend 2 so far of the SpeedDocsAthon. I am going to be coming at you with Pokemon Pearl Any Manipless. And as Happy alluded to, I have achieved my 100th marathon run, so I am just elated to be here. Thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to do this. We're just going to get started, but before we do so, I just want to get a last minute tally of the open bid wars we have. So can we just get one last check so I can have them in advance and struggle to type on the DS?
You've got Thickums for your character, Dayman for the rival, and Crunchy for the Chimchar.
What an eclectic group of names, and I appreciate everyone's creativity for that.
Weirdly, the same names as my 3 best friends in middle school.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I've been called all 3 in my life, so at some point. So that's pretty good. So I will be enjoying that. Thank you so much for your donations towards making those happen. They are, of course, much appreciated. So how this is going to work, we actually launched the game from the DS menu. So it's not, right from a new file, just because the timing is a little bit strange when it goes right into it. There's no new game button. So as long as we're ready on the timer, we're just going to jump right in. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. And you might have noticed that I actually clicked A 1 second before I said go, and that is on purpose. That is because there is a 1 second white screen that occurs before the game actually launches. Now, here we go. We're going to be getting in the menu here. Unfortunately, this is one of the worst opening menus in terms of like how you have to position your hands. So I have to hold B and A, but also use the D-pad. And I can't access my settings until I'm actually in the game. So when I do that, I'll be able to turn on L equals A and use the L button to mash like a normal person. But until I do that, I'm in Struggle City here. So we got our first nickname. We're going to pick the girl character. It is ever so slightly faster just based on dialogue. And of course, we are Thickums, so we're going to go H-I-C. Nope, that's a B. U-C-U-M-S. Thickums. Of course, my name is Thickums. How dare you ask? And then we have our rival, which is, of course, Dayman. Nope. D-A-Y-M-A-N. Great. And then Chimchar actually comes a little bit later, so we don't have to worry about it. Right now, it is just the tale of Thickums and Dayman, just as it was designed by the Pokemon company here. So, little opening cutscene here that we have to get through. As soon as we gain control of our character, we will be able to adjust our settings. Those settings, what we're going to be adjusting is the text speed, so we're going to make that go a little bit faster. As I mentioned, we're going to turn on L equals A, so that way the L bumper functions as an A button, which makes mashing exponentially easier for me. And we're also going to turn off things like battle animations and then shift to set, things like that, and that just makes it so we don't have the text box that says they're about to throw out this Pokemon, would you like to switch? No, we don't want that text box. We actually are going to be using only one Pokemon the entirety of this run, and we also obviously want to turn off battle animations so that we again move a little bit faster. These are all very classic settings that we adjust in Pokemon speedrunning here. All right, so onward we go. We got to go meet up with Dayman at Dayman's house. You can call me Nightman because we will be fighting Dayman exactly one time. Yeah, just once. Just one time. Yes, just one time. I had to think about it for a second in this run. Not intended, of course, because in a glitchless category, we would be fighting Dayman all through the night, as it were. But nope, just one time here. Up we go. Again, this is all just story-based exposition. We just got to get it done. I am indeed running on an actual DS, by the way, using a capture card here. So what you're seeing is being captured from a live DS, if you were interested. So yeah, technology is pretty amazing. It looks pretty clean on the old layout there. So allow me to talk a little bit about exactly what this category is. As you can see, it is called Any Percent Manipless. So first, let's define any percent. Obviously, in normal speedrun, it's to beat the game as fast as you possibly can. However, in Pokemon speedrunning, any percent does allow the use of RNG manipulation. In this game, what that looks like is we set the DS clock to a specific time and have specific inputs and clear specific boxes on specific frames and move in a very specific way. And what that does is it gives us an ideal Pokemon that we can use for speedrunning. So we get a Chimchar with very specific stats and yada yada yada. Now this is the Manipless category, which means that we are not permitted to do any of that, which I actually, for myself, I prefer to do it this way because it introduces more random elements to the run. And I like to get thrown into little bits of random situations, so I kind of have to adapt on the fly. But that being said, this is, as you can see, the estimate being an hour 20. This is a shorter run for a Pokemon run, so there's not too much adaptation we might have to do. But I'm going to be very careful here to select Chimchar. It's still very much the fastest, even if we don't use manipulations. And we'll get into a little bit as to why that is later on. But first, we fight our very first Pokemon, which is a Starly. And this fight actually tells us quite a bit if we pay attention. So we're going to be using Scratch exclusively. If things go our way, exactly our way, we can two-shot this Starly. It depends on a lot of things. It depends on rolls. Basically, you're assigned a 1 in 16 value every time you use a move. It depends on what our attack stat is. If it's not high enough, then we won't be able to two-shot it. And the third thing it depends on is if Starly uses Growl on the first turn or not, which is also random. We did not get Growl, but I still was not able to two-shot, which means that we got the 3-shot. That is perfectly normal, actually. Getting the 2-shot, I would think, is a little bit rare, and sometimes it can be so bad that you get 4-shotted, which is a combination of bad attack, potentially bad rolls, and then being growled to death, which Growl is a move that lowers your attack stat. So other than that, I don't focus too much on the stats in this run, which is probably pretty unusual for those who are more interested in, or more familiar rather, with Pokemon speedrunning. Stats tend to be very important, but the good news for us is that because this is an any percent category and there's basically a glitch that takes up the whole end of the run, there's not actually a ton of fights in this game that are mandatory, and therefore our stats do not matter that much as it would in another Pokemon speedrun. So that's pretty cool. We have a little cutscene here, and then finally our slow moving days will be over because we will get the running shoes and we'll be able to move a little bit faster. Thickums, we should go home too. Great names. Well done donators of SpeedDocsAthon. Thickums. Yep, Dayman in the chat saying they are Barry. We're all in trouble. I don't personally love hearing that because I don't want to be in trouble as the speed runner. But yeah, just please be easy on me. I beg of you. All right, so we got the running shoes here. Fun little optimization here. As long as it's a text box that doesn't have a little arrow on the right side, like meaning like an arrow that's like, oh, you know, it's time for you to move on. So you feel free to press A. You can actually clear the text box with the D-pad instead, and that is ever so slightly optimal because it removes the turn frame. So for example, I was turned facing our mom, or Barry's, no, our mom. That's our mom. And I used the D-pad instead of A to clear the text box, and it saved me the turn frame, which saves 1 frame, but it counts. All right, so as I mentioned, this is a Manipless category. In a Manip version, we would actually be walking in a very specific way that would make it so that we do not hit encounters here, but I am not doing Manips, which means that I am at the mercy of random Pokemon, just like you all are when you play these games. So, you know, you can get lucky and get no encounters there. Of course you can. 2 is a little bit unlucky, I would say. I would say we have to take that route 2 times, that being the first time that we take it. I would say on average, I probably hit three Pokemon per 2 times that I take that route. So, you know, if we only hit 1 next time, we'll be right on average. But yeah, let's go for 0. That's way better. All right, and then last but not least, we got Crunchy. So C-R-U, yeah. Okay, so this one can be longer. That's good for me to know in the future. C-H-Y, Crunchy. So this one could be 10, but Crunchy it is. All right, and that these names, it is absolutely, it's Crunchy Brown, yeah, absolutely. So it is faster to have 1 character names whenever you're doing these runs. That is because, as you can see, even when we set it to fast speed, text scrolls onto the screen. So the amount of characters that you have to work with being as low as possible is the most optimal thing. But it doesn't. This run is so short, it doesn't lose us a lot of time beyond the actual like naming of them, which for me is terribly hard because I'm using a stylus on the little keyboard to name them, and that is difficult for me. So, so all that is costing time for me struggling to type in things. But here we are. We get a little tour here of Pokemon Center and Pokemon Mart, and we actually do immediately do our first of basically two shops in this run. During this shop, we're going to get 8 potions, and then we're going to get 1 of each of the Antidote and the Paralyze Heal. We hope that we don't have to use either the Paralyze Heal or the Antidote, but we get them in case we need them. It is very important because we have a few different opportunities for things to go awry. So 8 potions, 1 Antidote, and 2 Paralyze Heals. Actually, yeah, we can do 2. We have enough money. That's fine. Perfect. Okay. So onward. And then we actually have to head back to town so we can tell our mom, hey, I'm starting my Pokemon journey. I gotta go. It's always very important. Make sure whenever you leave the house, you tell your mom. Don't leave her in suspense, you know? So onward we go. We do not have to walk through the grass on the way back, as you can tell if we take some very creative movement. And by creative, I mean just not walking in the grass. Is this when the excessive tutorials started happening? Yes, and it gets even worse, actually. So, CJ predicting a little bit about what we're going to be dealing with. So we get this little cutscene. We walk back through the grass, and we're going to be subject to the catching tutorial, which is not skippable in this game. But it gets even worse than that. As you might be familiar with if you've played Diamond Pearl or played Gen 4 on the DS at all, you'll notice that the health bar when you attack something as it goes down is very slow. It's much slower than other generations. But there's a neat little trick, and by neat I mean I kind of hate it, which is that if you mash during when health is being depleted from either the rival, whatever Pokemon you're fighting's bar or your own, then it moves ever so slightly faster, including during the catching tutorial when we're not the ones that are involved. So anytime that we are in a fight, we will be mashing, which is obviously great on the hands. All right, we're gonna be running here. And then onward we go. And look at that, 3 encounters, just like I said, perfectly average. All right, and then up we go here, and then onward to the catching tutorial. And this is exactly what I was talking about. I will be mashing anytime an attack goes on. But other than that, it's relatively slow. So happy to happen to have any quick donations or blurbs that we can throw in here while we're getting set up.
Well, I will say we have a donation from me. Only donation since I started here, but I popped $5 in because I want one of those plushies. And you too can get one of those plushies for just $3 or $5 to enter you for all of them. But more important than me wanting a plushie, we have those sweet, sweet blurbs. I'm just gonna let everybody know a little bit more about Save the Children. Save the Children believes that every child deserves a future, so they work every day to give children a healthy start in life, the opportunity to learn, and protection from harm. Since their founding over 100 years ago, they have changed the lives of over 1 billion children around the world. And like I mentioned earlier, the money we've raised already is going to go towards some really concrete, really hands-on things that will help children around the world. So the more donations we get in, the more of that concrete difference we can make in the world. So get those donos in, y'all.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. Couldn't agree more. So now we have one more, well, if you count this one, 2 more grassy patches to go through. And cool, we got out unscathed, and I'm actually going to save here. You'll notice we get the saving a lot of data. That happens anytime you start a new file or after you use a PC in this game, so we're going to have a longer save screen than normal. The reason why I'm saving here is this is arguably the scariest trainer in the whole run, and all they have is a level 5 Starly, and I'm not joking. It is a relatively scary fight. The Starly knows 3 moves. It knows Quick Attack, it knows Growl, and I think the other one is just Tackle. I can't remember the other one. But based off of what we get here, we might have to heal excessively, or we could get crit and die, and it's just, you know, we don't want to mess with this. So we're going to go into it and hope for the best. All we do is spam Scratch, because we just want to get out of this as fast as possible. But it is kind of important to keep an eye on.
So you played this the same way I played Pokemon in 5th grade?
Yeah, take your favorite physical move and just smash it. Yeah, that's pretty much what you do for this fight. You do like seeing Growl. It's a weird kind of dichotomy here. You like seeing Growl because it doesn't do damage, but it also lowers your attack. So you like seeing it somewhat, but you don't like seeing it too much. So you have to strike a weird balance with it. Let's see if we can get through this without having to heal, but I doubt it. Yeah, we're gonna have to heal here. We might even be dead. Nope, we're good. So we're gonna heal. Actually, are we just gonna straight up win? Okay, cool. So I'm actually gonna heal before the next fight, which is not that scary, but it is scary enough to not be able to survive more than 1 hit. And we're not gonna tempt fate and worry about crits or not. So we're gonna heal up. We're gonna play it safe. All right, so here we go. Potion, heal up real quick. Thanks, Crunchy, for all you've done for us so far. All right, and then onward we go. Second trainer has 2 Bidoofs, which are not very threatening to us. They don't do a ton of damage. The only thing of note here for this fight is that after we defeat the first Bidoof, we will level up once again, and we will be gaining access to the move Ember, which is a fire type move. Why this matters specifically is a thing called Stab, or same type attack bonus. Whenever you use a move that is the same type of move that you are, you get a damage boost. So if, for example, I might be fuzzy on the math, so forgive me if I get the math wrong and you're out there and you know the math for sure. But for example, if a move is 60 base power and it is the same type attack bonus move, I believe it then becomes 90 base power. I think that's how it works. So second Bidoof gets here, and you'll see that we'll be able to do a little bit more damage. However, we can't do enough damage to kill it in one shot unless we are in something that we call Blaze. That is an ability type of our starter. Blaze, if your health is below a certain amount, then you get extra attack power as well. So we would have to go into this fight with really low health, which I could have chanced in hopes to save a turn, but in a marathon setting, I'm absolutely not going to do that. No way. All right, I take a little bit of a weird movement pattern there as well. This actually minimizes the amount of tiles that I stay in the grass. It's a longer pathway to get to where I need to go, but the extra tiles that I do take are outside of the grass, so it makes it worth it to try to mitigate the amount of time that I spend in the grass. Of course, I still hit Pokemon, so it doesn't save us a lot, but you know, we have to try. You never know. All right, Logan here just has a Shinx. Our health is high enough that it's not going to be a problem for us, and we're just going to be embering to win. And then we'll be entering Jubilife City. We actually, and I'll start to talk about a little bit about this in advance as well. So once we enter Jubilife City, we're actually going to be fighting 2 optional trainers that we don't necessarily have to fight, especially in a Manipless run. We don't have to fight them. But we're going to be fighting them because defeating both of them gives us a move called Hidden Power. And that is what makes this run borderline a randomizer in the middle section. Hidden Power is a move that typing is determined based off of the stats that your Pokemon has. However, you don't know what the type is. Like, it always says Hidden Power is a normal type, like when you select the actual move, right? But in reality, its type is something different, and you don't know what it is. Hence, it's called Hidden Power. And as I mentioned, it's based off your stats. So if you are doing a Manipped category, you again are manipping a very specific Chimchar, and you're also manipping the Chimchar's Hidden Power to be Grass, which is very useful for us because the first gym area is all rock types, which is a very super effective. And specifically, there are rock ground types, a lot of them, because it's a lot of Geodudes and Onyxes. So that's 4 times effective if you have a grass type. However, I don't have the luxury of having a Manipped Chimchar. I have a random one, so I don't know what his stats are, and I have no idea what the Hidden Power is going to be. We're going to hope that it's something useful, but odds are it won't be. But we're going to try anyway, because if it is useful, it saves us a really good chunk of time. First, we have to talk to Dayman here. Shoutouts to Dayman. We're going to head over here, and we're going to talk to our first trainer. They both have the same Pokemon, which is just an Abra. So they're not too scary. The only thing that could get scary, of course, is if we get some crits. But we're gonna see what we get here. Based off of my stats, we're actually gonna roll Scratch here. I think that's still gonna do a little bit more damage with where we are currently, and that looks about right. Also, the interesting thing here as well, so Abra's defense tends to be really low, but special defense tends to be a little bit higher. Ember is a special move, Scratch is a physical move, so it uses the defense stat. Therefore, it tends to be a better idea to use physical moves. We learn Taunt here, which might be useful to us depending on the Hidden Power we get, but it would only be useful for one battle at most anyway. All right, before we fight number 2, we're actually going to heal one more time. I probably would be fine, but I would have to heal before the rival anyway, so it doesn't necessarily lose time to heal here unless I get crit, is the only thing. So we'll see how it goes. Another Abra. We're going to be leading Scratch here as well, and depending on the roll I get, I'm going to use Ember second, and that is just because Ember is a smaller word than Scratch, so it saves us a few frames of text. That's all. Just an ever so slight optimization. There we go, and Ember to win. Voila, and then we'll be getting Hidden Power. Okay, so you might be wondering, you know, in a Manipped category, right? You know what your Hidden Power is because you have a very specific Chimchar, very specific stats. How do I know, if I don't have a Manipped Chimchar, what my Hidden Power is going to be? And that is a great question, fellow speedrun enjoyer. We're going to be doing it the hard way. We're going to be trialing and erroring it. And mainly what we're going to be trialing and erroring it is based off of the our rival fight that's coming up after this. But first, don't want to put the cart before the horse. We got to talk to some clowns. And yes, I'm serious. We get introduced here to the Poketch, which is a little device because that's going to go on our bottom screen because as you can imagine, oh my gosh, thank you, NPC. As you can imagine, aside from battling, our bottom screen has been largely useless. And honestly, it will continue to be useless, but at least we'll have a different visual. But yeah, you cannot continue on until you get this taken care of anyway. It is a story beat that is unavoidable. The NPCs are really trolling me here. Of course they are. Luckily enough, too, so how the clowns work is they all each have a trivia question. The answer to all 3 questions is yes, so you don't have to worry about messing up or anything. So that works out pretty good. All right, we get our Poketch. I got to do one more menu, and there's our Poketch on the bottom screen there now. I got to do one more menu to teach Hidden Power before our fight here, with our upcoming fight with our rival. So I'm going to get to about here, throw it up. I'm going to teach it over Scratch. If you are doing PB attempts of this, you might not teach it over Scratch. You'll probably teach it over Taunt because ideally you're probably only going to take files that have good Hidden Powers anyway, so you wouldn't have to worry about it. However, because I might need taunt in the future, depending on what I'm dealing with, I'm going to keep taunt and teach it over scratch. And if hidden power is useless, that's just what happens to me. And that's just how it goes. All right, so now here's where trial and error starts. Rival has a Starly and a Piplup, and we're going to be using hidden power on both to try to get a sense as to what type of hidden power we have. Okay, so let's see what we get. That is neutral, so that doesn't narrow it down very much for us, unfortunately. It seems to be of decent power, because hidden power can also vary in terms of power. Like, it can have, I think 30 base power is the lowest, and it can go up to 60 or 70 maybe. So it can vary in terms of how effective it is. Neutral here does not narrow it down very far, so we're going to have to see even further here with the Piplup. If we can narrow it down even further. As of right now, it can be fire, water, steel, fighting, poison, flying, psychic, dragon, or dark. I think that covers all of the bases, but let's see what we get here. So it's neutral on both, which means that it's probably not useful, unfortunately. So we're gonna keep using hidden power in mass here because it's, oh, we got a nice crit there, so that helps. In hope, because it's gonna be faster than using Ember repeatedly, because we'll get not very effective text. But unfortunately, yeah, this means that it's not gonna be useful typing. It's fighting, poison, flying, psychic, dragon, or dark. So we're gonna be not doing too much here. Right. Okay. So so even based on that, we need to get a certain amount of XP. So we're actually going to be pretty crafty with our routing here. Depending on what kind of hidden power we have, it actually changes our routing leading up to the first gym here ever so slightly. So first we're gonna fight this youngster with the Kricketot here. We can try and narrow it down further. Let's see if we have a sense. It's super effective, which means it's probably flying, which is not useful, of course. So we're gonna get out of here with that. So that's one trainer we have down. But what makes this specific route a little bit interesting is if we get a specific wild encounter of a Geodude at a certain level. Wow, one turn frame encounter. That's really nice. If we encounter a Geodude, wild Geodude, we can actually skip one trainer in this route based off of the experience we get. So that's what makes this a little bit interesting. But it is a little bit dependent on if we find a Geodude or an Onix as a wild encounter. Alright, so we're going to go up here. Of course, hit another encounter. And we just got to get out of that. And then we'll be entering this tunnel here. There we go. We're actually, so we got to talk to this hiker guy. He's going to give us Rock Smash. We can't use it yet, and it's also faster to talk to him than it is to walk in front of him, because then he's going to get that little exclamation point deal above his head and then walk towards us, which is very slow. We don't have time for all that, so we're going to keep moving. We're going to dodge these trainers. I'm going to take this a little carefully so I don't hit extra trainers than I need to. Did not hit any encounters there, which is where we could encounter a Geodude. But we can also encounter one in the Oreburg mines, so we will see what we're given. I am actually going to take the Pokemon Center here. Would not need to do this normally in a PB attempt, but the reason why I take it here is twofold. One, saves me a couple of healing items that it could be useful later. And two, it actually sets up an impromptu, for lack of a better term, save point. What I mean by that is, say I take on Roark, the gym leader here, and I end up dying, I'll be warped back to that Pokemon Center as opposed to all the way home. So I don't really need to worry about saving because I'm not that far from the gym even if I do die. So it actually ends up being a little bit faster that way. All right. Let's see, is this going to be a Geodude that we can use? Yeah, as long as it's 5 or 6, then we're good. Yeah, great. So we're actually going to defeat this Geodude here. That's going to That's gonna enable us to skip one gym, one trainer in the gym, I should say, not a whole gym. Though we do plenty of gym skipping. Also allows me to save a little bit on embers here. That crit, so that's pretty good. But yeah, as you can see, this is a useless hidden power for us. Though it does do a decent chunk of damage, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah, it doesn't do a lot for us. The fact that he's using defense curl is actually going to make me use ember here. Defense curl makes his defense go up, but ember uses again special defense as its protecting stat. So don't have to worry about it too much. But yeah, that allows us to skip one trainer. So at least it's not the end of the world. This trainer also has a Machop, which I can use the hidden power for here, and it'll actually be useful. But it's only on this trainer, so you know, it's not like it's worth it to have flying or anything like that, unfortunately. But we'll see if it does enough damage to one-shot it, which would be ideal, obviously. Let's see what we get. Nope, it is super effective, but not that super effective. But we got focus energy, so we're ultimately okay. Great. We are going to fight one more trainer in this mine, but we do have to come in this mine regardless because we have to talk to Roark so that Roark can go take over his duties as the gym leader. He is just down here smashing rocks like any good rock type trainer would be doing, of course. You know what? As a safety precaution, I'll grab an extra potion here. Don't need to, but you never know. As soon as we entered that first tunnel, the one that had the rock smash guy and the two trainers in it, we've been decently lucky with encounters. The only encounter we've had is one that we were looking for anyway, so not too shabby. All right, so this trainer unfortunately has a Geodude and Onix, so not much we can do to make this go well for us. But we do need to take it out because we do need a certain level of experience. Now, why do we need experience? That's a great question. So as we mentioned, Chimchar is a fire type. So, you know, why would we even choose Chimchar when the first gym is a rock type gym? You know, wouldn't we want to choose Piplup or Turtwig instead, since they are super effective against rocks? Now, unfortunately for them, and the good news for us is that we have a little backdoor strategy. So Chimchar evolves earlier than most other starters, if not all other starters. Chimchar evolves at level 14 into Monferno, and Monferno gains a second type, which is fighting, and fighting is super effective against rock. So what we're looking to do, of course, is we're going to be evolving into Monferno before the gym leader, so that way we now have the fighting type, and coincidentally enough for us, of course, we gain a fighting move right as we level to 14, which is Mach Punch. So we will be leaning on Mach Punch for the gym fight. Got a burn here, which is actually good. It could save us a turn, I believe, based off of that health. Actually might even kill from there if we're lucky. Can we be lucky? Is it possible to be lucky? Yeah, look at that. Good stuff. Okay, so that trainer is down, and we only need to fight one more trainer before Roark. So we will be very close, and that trainer is within the gym itself. So we'll be very close to Roark here in a second. We just need to grab this escape rope. I'm going to use a bag, and I'm going to, especially since I grabbed an extra one for safety, I'm going to go ahead and heal here anyway, because the next fight can be scary depending. We're probably going to have to heal before Roark regardless, because we basically want to go into Roark with full health. So it won't matter that much. And then we use the escape rope we just picked up to get out of the mine without having to deal with encounters, of course. So there we go. Man, that NPC really loves to get in my way. All right, cool. We can skip the first gym leader, which is great. Gym trainer. I keep calling them gym leaders. Gym trainer. And go right to the second one. Second one, it's going to look a little familiar. Has a Geodude and an Onix. So we'll be slogging through this fight as well. If we have like a quick, like maybe 30-second plug or donation happy while we get through this trainer, now is a good time before we get into the gym leader fight.
right, absolutely. We do have a $20 donation from Queen Lolly. No comment, but thank you so much for that super generous donation. And that went towards Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker, the bonus Odyssey levels. Just a reminder, Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker is coming up right after this. We need $250 to get those bonus levels, so that's another $230 in the next 6 hours and 18 minutes. Let's make that happen.
Absolutely. I would personally love to see those levels. Captain Toad is such a charming game in my opinion, so if we can extend that even farther, yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Yeah, Captain Toad falls into one of my favorite categories of speedruns, which is I don't totally know what I'm watching, but it's very nice and calming to do. Like, I'm enjoying watching it, even if I don't entirely know what's happening. It's just nice. It's good vibes.
It's comfy cozy is what I like to say. It's comfy cozy. We got pretty lucky here with the Onyx, so we got rock throwed twice, but the second one missed, so we only got hit once, but as you can see, it did a nice chunk of damage to us. The rest were hardened, which does not affect our ability to use Ember, because again, special defense versus defense, they are different stats. And here we are, we're going to be evolving. Because our hidden power is useless, we're going to teach Mach Punch over hidden power, and we're going to be holding on to Taunt for this fight, the Roark fight. Now, the way Taunt could come into our favor, but even then, it's still RNG. It's actually on the second Pokemon, Onyx. It just will prevent Onyx from using moves. It forces it. All right, here it's hard to describe. Here we go. Okay, so Taunt makes it so if a move is not a physical attack, it doesn't do anything. And if Onyx were to use Harden, or things that lower my defense, I believe, actually, then that would be beneficial to us if we use Taunt, because it would prevent our defense from being lowered. However, if it was going to use Rock Throw on repeat anyway, it doesn't help us, and in fact, you could argue it loses us a turn. But we cannot take too many defense drops, or when we get to its last Pokemon, then we're just going to get tanked on. So we got to play a little bit carefully here. But first, he leads Geodude. Geodude, again, not doing too much for us. Especially with Mach Punch now, we have something that does a little bit more damage than Ember, thankfully. Not much, but it does a little bit. Based off of that roll, that tells me that my attack is not great. Usually we want to see it get to about half there, so I'm actually going to take one extra turn, unfortunately, and Leer there, so to guarantee that the second Mach Punch kills. Reason being, if I used Mach Punch and it didn't kill Geodude, he would probably heal. Which we might see here with Onyx anyway. My health is a little precarious, getting a little bit nervous on that, so let's see how Taunt fares for us. So we're gonna use one and only use of Taunt here. Yep, can't use Screech, so that does save us a turn. We're gonna Mach Punch here to get a lay of the land as to how much damage we're doing. Yeah, we're gonna have to Leer twice here, unfortunately. Let me see what my health ends up being. Okay, we're fine. For now, Leer once. I'm gonna Leer again here, and then I'm gonna have to heal. Yeah, especially now. We have to heal. Okay, and then we're going to Mach Punch at the end. We can take one defense drop. That's fine. I'm actually kind of glad that I got a defense drop there instead of being hit again, because then we'd be going into this last Pokemon a little bit stressed, but we're doing okay. This last Pokemon here does take two. Takes 2 moves to kill still. We're gonna have to Leer Granados once and then Mach Punch it, and then it should go down even with our attack not being great, as I mentioned. Granados is just kind of like a glass cannon in a way. Can do a lot of damage. Headbutt is fine there. No, except when it does that, I guess. So as I mentioned, we get to see the direct use of me healing at the Pokemon Center there, which is that I'm not far away. It's actually faster to do this than it is to have saved and then reset and then try it again. So it's still faster to do that. So onward. We're gonna take 2 on that one, and we'll be going into this fight 1 level higher now, which is great. I still got to remember to skip that trainer because he's still active since I lost to Roark. But yeah, a little bit unfortunate. Taking a death there is kind of sad. But as we get set up here, you'll see it's ever so slightly different because we go into it with a little bit more power now that we're level 15 instead of 14. We still have taunt, so we will still likely be using taunt for Onyx here. It did pay off a little bit one time, but we might even be able to just straight up Mach Punch Geodude twice here now. It looks like that. Yep. So we'll save 1 turn here, and we got the Rock Throw miss, which is great. So we're going into Onyx full health, which is good. All right, so great. We're still gonna lead taunt because you can see just how much a defense drop can do. Headbutt is not that powerful of a move, but it was still able to take us out. I thought I had enough health, but again, without knowing your stats specifically, you can't ever be entirely too sure. All right, so we're gonna Mach Punch here, see what we have. We're looking about the same to BH, so we're gonna leer twice again. But we're going into this with more health, so we won't have to worry about the defense drop this time, even if we get Rock Throw all the way down. Okay. And then we can just go right into the Mach Punch. There we go. Again, if we had Mach Punch, if we had only leered 1 to Mach Punch, that probably puts Onyx in healing range, and then it wastes turns using a potion, and then yeah, it's easier to just take 1 extra turn to leer. No, we're going to keep old moves. We do not need Fury Swipes, not useful for us. Usually we learn that later. We don't usually have to take this fight twice, so. Okay, same deal. Okay, going to leer once. We will not have the defense drop this time, so even if we get headbutted again, which of course we didn't, we got Pursuit, which is a far less powerful move. We should be good. Alrighty, we did it. Second time's the charm, but we got through the Roark fight. By far, probably between this and the first trainer, these 2 are the hardest fights in the game, depending on the stats and stuff that you're given. So yeah, worked out in our favor for sure. All right. So we're gonna get out of here, and we're going to use our second and last shopping trip, actually. All right, on our way out. We don't have to worry about that gym trainer anymore. We're going to back it up here, and we're going to buy some super potions, and we're going to spend the rest of our money buying repels. Okay, and then repel. 7 repels is pretty much standard at this point, so whenever you're doing the shopping trip. Sometimes, depending on how many items you bought before, or if you happen to like lose a fight or something, you might have 6, but 7 is actually more than you need anyway. More so, it's useful if you have to like double back through an area, or you mess up movement or something like that. So it's always good to have some extra. All right, in we go. We're actually going to menu right away here. We're going to be doing 2 things. 1, we're going to be using a repel. 2, we're going to be teaching Rock Smash. Now that we have the gym fight complete, we can use Rock Smash in the wild, meaning we can actually smash rocks, and we can teach it over taunt, which is now useless to us. We can now also use it in battle, which will be useful probably exactly 1 time, but you know, it's still good to have. Take this a little slow just to make sure I don't hit that trainer. Definitely do not want to be hitting extra trainers. And we usually, depending on the route, I have to go all the way around that trainer, but because I fought it earlier based off of this route, it saves us a little bit of movement, so helps us out a little bit. Oh, NPC, please. Okay. Here we got, it's basically a story beat where we're introduced to Team Galactic, and we have this double battle with a Wormhole and a Zubat, with Lucas helping us out with the Turtwig. It's inconsequential, it doesn't do anything, and it's never dangerous. If we happen to have plugs or donations that we can jump in here for about 30 seconds or so, now's a good time.
Yeah, just we can make that happen, just a quick reminder about SpeedDocs. This may be a marathon, but it is also a fantastic YouTube channel, and they have a Patreon. Did you know SpeedDocs has a Patreon? I did not until today. It's a well-kept secret, but they do, and it's pretty cool. Help support SpeedDocs team with your $1, $3, and $5 support for every video released by going to www.patreon.com/SpeedDocs or by typing Patreon in the chat. Patreon is such a fantastic way to support creators. It's one of the best ways you can directly support creators. And the SpeedDocs folks put on fantastic events, not only for charity, but for maintaining a historical record of this community and the strange activity that we all love. So highly recommend supporting them if you're able.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And just great content. Checking out all their videos. There's so many great ones on there. Well-produced content. I've even had the privilege of like helping out on a couple of their videos with just some behind-the-scenes stuff. So it's been great. Check out their YouTube channel, join their Patreon, support them directly for sure. Now, for us, back in Pokemon land here, we're going to be encountering our first of 4 as designed spinners, at least. We're going to be what we need to do here is be very careful with our movement, and you'll see that I moved in a very specific way. Basically what I did is I waited until the trainer there turned away from me, and then I moved up 1 tile and paused at the same time. That makes it so when I unpause, it keeps her frozen for just long enough that I can safely pass her without hitting her, if I do it correctly. This is the second spinner. There we go. There is a double battle there, which we don't have to worry about because, again, I only use 1 Pokemon. But that is 2 of 4 spinner passes for the run down, barring me, barring me accidentally dying and having to run back through them or something, which we hope we don't have to worry about, but you never know. I'm going to make 1 pit stop while we're in Floroma Town here, grabbing this Cherry Berry. Cherry Berry is a berry that prevents paralysis, so I'll actually be holding on to that. So if you're keeping track, I have 3 paralysis healing items and 2 poison healing items, and these are all, again, just in case. I might not get poisoned or paralyzed the entire run, but it's likely that at least one of those will happen, so we grab items to prevent them just in case. What is really good about berries specifically is that I can equip the berries to my Pokemon, and then if I get paralyzed, it will automatically heal it without wasting a turn, which is great. In a menu a little bit later on, I'll be equipping that before a particularly trying fight where I have a higher likelihood of being paralyzed. These fights, however, are not trying at all. They are very basic. We have this fight, which is a Wurmple and a Silcoon, and then there is another fight after that that it has a Zubat. Again, not much going on here. Lore-wise, we need to get into Valley Windworks, which is a building that is just to the right of where I talked to that little girl a minute or so ago. We cannot get in there because we don't have the key. There's actually a trainer blocking it that will not let us go, which we will be fighting, but not quite yet. What we do here is we defeat these 2 grunts. They leave the key behind, and then we can head on over there and go save that little girl's dad in Valley Windworks. Within Valley Windworks as well will be one of I don't know how else to refer to it other than a boss fight, but Pokemon doesn't really work that way. But a harder than normal trainer, basically, which is one of the galactic leaders named Mars. We'll be taking her out, hopefully. And I don't mean for dinner. We're going to be defeating her Pokemon with my Pokemon in order to save the little girl's dad. But yeah, as you can see, we're just mainly using Ember. At level 19, I'm pretty sure, we actually get another fire move called Flame Wheel, which we'll be teaching. And we'll actually be rolling with both for a while. mainly because Flame Wheel is a move that it is fire, but it is a physical fire move. It's not a special fire move, so it is dependent on our attack stat as opposed to our special attack stat. So there will be instances where we might want to use Ember instead because it would do more damage based off of if our special attack is better than our regular attack, which it seems to be in this case. So, but for now, we get the key. We head on over to Valley Windworks. We're gonna fight this trainer who has the Glameow. Glameow is super effective. Fighting moves are super effective against Glameow is what I'm trying to say. So we'll be mock punching it into smithereens. I said this in a recent marathon. Unfortunately, I'm just gonna have to punch a cat. It's just how it is. But I don't know that I don't like it. I don't like doing it, but it is.
Are we gonna get our Friday night Drifloon?
Actually, I don't think my DS clock is set to Friday, but even so, you have to come back here for that to happen. So we wouldn't be wasting time, but we could. You know, it is Friday theoretically. If I had set my DS clock to the right time, then maybe. Okay, we can get in now. We have the key, and then we're going to be having our third of fourth spinner passes. I see that I offended Sable. I am very sorry. I just have to do what I have to do. You know. Oh, you know what? I should have... one of those pauses I should have healed. That would have been smart to do, but that's okay. I still got past the spinner relatively quickly, which is what you want to do, ideally. And then here is the Mars fight. Now, Mars can be a little annoying, but not overly annoying. Usually it's just... this fight can take longer than you want it to, is at worst case scenario. Sometimes you can get like awful luck, but it takes a lot to cause that. The Zubat is the main perpetrator of these issues here, mainly because Zubat can't be killed in one shot with what we have available to us, and it has a move called Toxic, which of course it just used. We're actually going to heal off the poison before we kill it, that's why we get the antidotes. That's exactly why. This is the main poison chance for us. Leech Life doesn't affect us much, as you can see. Based off of the roll of that Ember, we should be plenty fine with two-shotting this Ember, two-shotting this Zubat, so that's good. Our health is still relatively high. You can actually, if your special is not great, this could take 3 shots, so we do like seeing the fact that it does 2. Now with Perugly, we're going to be leading Rock Smash, and we're going to actually hope that Rock Smash has a defense fall. It's a 50-50 shot. It will lower your opponent's defense. So let's see what we get. Yes, that's what we love to see. And then we're going to finish it out with Mach Punch. If we didn't get the defense fall here, we would just have to take an extra turn to leer it. But this was, besides getting poison, almost an optimal Mars fight, actually. So pretty good. Honestly, part of it is we came into it a little bit higher of a level than we would normally because we had to fight Roark twice. But, you know, we take the victories where we can get them. But here we are. We have rescued the little girl's dad. What does she do in return? She says that her dad smells. You'll see the dialogue here in a second. Papa, you're stinky. Go shower now, stinky. Jeez. How about like, wow, I'm glad to see you, Dad. I'm sorry you were trapped by an evil criminal organization. But yeah, no respect. All right. So we're about to pass what I hope at least is our 4th and final spinner pass. First, I'm gonna do a couple things here. We're gonna get the berry. We're gonna give it so that we are good to go there, and then we're gonna use a repel. And then we can just take that here. Oh no, I got greedy. I got absolutely greedy. And unfortunately for me, this is the worst of the 4 spinners to hit. Because it's the longest one. He has 4 Pokemon. That sucks. That's really bad. Because I hit the spinner, I'm gonna be donating. I didn't say that out loud yet. So I'm gonna be donating $10 because I hit the spinner. I was gonna say $10 per spinner. Or extra random trainer that I hit. So my misery turns into charity work, which is ultimately what you want. And honestly, yes, I deserve it because I had to punch a couple cats. I acknowledge that. I'm here and I acknowledge it. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I'm wondering actually. I'm gonna experiment here because I don't get into this situation often. I wonder if Rock Smash is better. Let's see. Nope, it's the same. Okay, well, it's actually worse in case you get the defense fall. We actually would rather do Mach Punch because the extra text matters. So we don't want the extra text. The good news again is actually we will be level 19 going into this next fight, which means we have Flame Wheel already before we even enter the forest, that is certainly something. We're gonna teach it over Mach Punch, so we do have to use Rock Smash here to end this fight, but that's fine. If we get defense drops, we get defense drops. It's not the end of the world. Oh, actually, this is Machop, so we're gonna use Ember instead. That's even better. Because that'll be good. I think the fourth Pokemon is still a Geodude though. So how are we gonna beat this game in another 20 minutes? That's a great question. First of all, 28. You know, give me all the time that I need without bad of luck that my luck is going here. But second of all, you're just gonna have to wait and see. It gets a little special at the end of this run. It gets a little bit unique. Yes, thank you for the correction. Okay, so we got through the unfortunate spinner, and then we're going to be up and out here. We very carefully want to walk behind that hiker in the way that I did, because if you try to walk in front of it, it is actually a spinner, but it's a strange spinner in the way that it doesn't spin in all four directions. It only spins in two directions. So as long as you walk behind it in the way that I did, then you were not in danger of hitting it. So that's pretty good. All right, so now we have this double battle here, and this double battle is annoying. However, we do have, as you see, a companion behind us. So the companion can be helpful or it can be hurtful. It just depends on our companion's AI as well as the AI of the trainers here. So we're just gonna have to get a little bit lucky. But we'll see. So the Pachirisu here is the one that's really annoying. We're actually going to be taking out all the other Pokés first. Because especially, well, Wurmple is not super consequential, but the next Pokemon behind Wurmple is Beautifly, and Beautifly has psychic-based moves which can just absolutely wreck us. My attack fell, which is not great for using. All that tells me is that I might use Ember all the way through instead of Flame Wheel, but that's okay. All right, so we're gonna Ember the Beautifly. Ideally, so Pachirisu has paralyzing moves. Obviously, it's an electric type. If it does use those moves, mainly I think it's Spark. We're gonna hope it uses it on Chansey and not us. The best move that Pachirisu could use is Bide, but it's not using it. But it's also not paralyzing, so I can't be that upset. I kind of just have to take what I get here, because it could just be absolutely tanking on me with Spark this whole time. So I will. There's Bide. Bide's good. We would prefer it to be up front, but we'll take it where we can get it. So Pachirisu really behaved here. It's unfortunate that it decided to spam Charm, because I'm going to have to use Ember instead of Flame Wheel here, because it's just going to do more damage than Flame Wheel is at this point. But other than that, looking pretty good. Now, yep, that's fine. Unleash the energy on the Chansey is, as long as it's on that Chansey, we don't really care. Now, the interesting thing here is whenever you have a companion in this game, like we do currently, whenever you complete a battle, whether it be a wild encounter or it be a trainer battle, you get healed automatically every time. So even though I'm like lower health with some lower PP of moves, I'm actually full health now, which is great. Because we get to save some energy here, and going into this next double battle, which this next double battle is not harmful at all, so that's good news. Just two Abras, both of which we can take out with relative ease. There is one outcome that makes this fight extra fast that I've only seen one time, which is, so I'm gonna Flame Wheel one of the Abras, and it'll go down in one shot. Now Chansey can use Egg Bomb, and if that Egg Bomb crits, there's a chance that Abra dies, which is the most optimal thing that can happen, but I've seen that exactly one time. if Chansey uses Egg Bomb, we actually and it doesn't crit, we'd actually prefer it to miss entirely. It's faster. But we got an Egg Bomb hit that wasn't a crit, so we just take what we can get there. But otherwise, largely inconsequential. We just get through it. You can actually these fights you can actually take separately. It's just faster to not do it. So you could take them separately if you needed the extra heal for some reason, but you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so we're gonna go down here, and then we're going to use a repel. Even though that we're gonna be in the grass here, we're going to want to still spend as much time out of grass tiles as possible. You might be wondering, why does that matter if I am if I use a repel? Then there's no danger of me hitting an encounter anyway. Why does it matter if I spend extra time in the grass or not? And you might have been able to see it there, though I didn't get it a lot of times. If you are going to hit an encounter, but then don't because you're using a repel, there's actually a little lag frame that occurs there. Where the encounter is supposed to be. But that lag frame, we want to mitigate the amount of times that lag frame can occur. Again, it's not really in our control because we don't control the amount of encounters we get at that point, but we can try to mitigate it by staying out of the grass as much as we can. All right, so we're in Gym 2 here, which is a grass type gym, and yeah, we're loving this as a fire type. So we're actually loving this quite a bit. But we don't have to worry about it too much. We're going to be skating through. The downside to this gym is that we have to fight every gym trainer here. We don't have a choice. Based on how the gym is, basically you fight each trainer one at a time until you finish them, and then they're like, all right, now Gardenia will come out. So that is the bad news, but these are all just grass types that we can just absolutely destroy with our fire type moves, so don't have to worry about it too much. I will say the only other thing to mention for right now is that the next trainer that I fight has 3 Voodoos. One slightly funny optimization that I always like pointing out in marathon runs of this game is that the second Voodoo I'm actually going to use Ember on instead of Flame Wheel, and that is only because the text is faster and that Voodoo has weak enough stats that I can comfortably go for Ember. Otherwise, I'm just going to be using a Flame Wheel entirely. And the reason why that's a slight optimization is, again, Ember is less text than Flame Wheel, so it only saves a few frames, but it's always interesting. But other than that, we just have a couple trainer fights that we have to get through here. So happy if we have any donations or if you want to plug the prizes or anything like that some more. Now is a good time for the next maybe minute or so.
Absolutely. Just a reminder of a few things that are coming up. In 5 hours and 50 minutes, we have Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker. And for another $230 of donations, we will hit the milestone to get those bonus Odyssey levels. So if you want more Captain Toad, great news. You can get more Captain Toad. In about 25 hours, we have Kirby Air Ride. That comes with a potential bonus run of 5 hot dogs %. I have no idea what that means. I didn't know there were hot dogs in Kirby Air Ride, but I sure do look forward to finding out. And right now that is at $382 out of $464, so someone who's better than me at math can tell you that we are close. I think that's $82 away, but I've been wrong before.
Oh yes.
So both of those are coming up pretty soon.
Yes, and I know what 5 hot dogs is in Kirby Air Ride. I've seen it in other marathons, and that is something you want. I'm telling you, you want it. Donate to it to make it happen. You certainly want to see it. It is a perfect little meme, so you want to see it. Still have 2 more trainers here. So Turtwig can be ever so slightly beefy, but it only really matters if my attack is so horrid. And my attack is not great, but it's not that bad. It's not so bad that I might not hit that range. We will be fighting one more Turtwig of Gardenias, and that will probably be a little bit more nefarious, unfortunately, based off of my attack stat. But these fights, they're not a problem. This is the last gym trainer here before we fight Gardenia, by the way. So we'll be getting through it pretty quickly. crunchy, carrying us on his back right now. Appreciate it. Dayman is out there just wandering in the wild and living his best life, of course. And just in case you forgot, my name is Thickums. So again, great names. Well done. Okay, now Gardenia is there. Time to take on gym leader number 2. All right, so Gardenia fight. The Gardenia fight is relatively safe. A few things can make it a little bit unfortunate. First, the Truby that she throws out first is nothing. We take that out fast. The Turtwig is second, and based off of our attack stat, I am a little worried that we're not going to kill it, which means that it will give us a chance. It will give it a chance to use Reflect, which is not great. It just extends this fight even further than you want to. And then her third Pokemon is Roserade, which is a little bit beefy. We're going to be leering anyway, so we would probably be a little bit even more nefarious if we don't kill this Turtwig and we get Reflect, because it lowers our attack ability here. So let's see. Come on, Turtwig, just go down. Yeah. We love to see it. I think I'm partially boosted by the fact that I hit 23 before Turtwig. Usually you hit it after. So that probably gave me just enough of a boost to get through. And now we have Roserade. Roserade has the ability to poison us, has the ability to paralyze us, and also can just do damage, straight up do damage to us. So we'll see what we get. Got the paralysis, but we had the Cherry Berry equipped. So that's great. And let's see, Poison Sting, so we could still get poisoned. Let's see, not poisoned, so pretty good fight there. You can see exactly why the Cherry Berry comes in clutch. All right, and that is Gardenia down. Doing good. Okay, so that is 2 badges down. We have to do a couple more things here in the town before we can just straight up leave Eterna City here. But the good news is we have 2 badges now, which means that we can use Cut. We just have to find Cut first. Once we do, we'll be entering the Team Galactic building because we need to save the bike shop owner there at the top, because of course we want the bike. It's just fast, but also it's a story beat and you have to. You can't really progress without it. So out of the gym here, we're gonna be just heading straight up. And then here's our good pal Cynthia, who, spoiler, is going to be the Pokemon League champion at the end of all this. But for now, she's just helping out. She's going to give us Cut. So much appreciated to Cynthia.
You should just get an option to fight her right here.
We would get destroyed, absolutely bodied for sure. Her team is incredible. She probably has one of my favorite teams out of all the champions. So yeah, her team is just straight godly. We would not have a chance. Okay, so we're gonna teach Cut to our Chimchar. Another reason why. What do we want to get rid of here? Actually, it's just some interesting different strategies here. We're gonna teach it over Ember. I don't think we have a use for Flame Wheel. We don't have a use for Ember anymore because we're not in Blaze. If we were in Blaze, we could save a little bit of time here by using Ember instead of Flame Wheel, but we don't have that. We don't have that luxury, unfortunately. But anyway, yeah. So we need to go in this building, fight a bunch of Team Galactic members, so that we can save the bike shop owner at the top and get our bike and get on out of Eterna City. Yeah, as I was saying before too, yeah, Cynthia is probably one of my favorite champions out of all of the champions in all of the games. She's cool, her team is cool, it's just pretty rad. But for all of these trainers, we're going to be fighting 4 trainers and then one boss type trainer at the top. For all of these trainers, we're just going to be flame wheeling to win, just to get through it all. So there isn't really much to mention here. If we have any plugs or donations for the next, I would say probably upwards of like maybe 2 to 3 minutes. Now is a great time.
We can make some stuff happen.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. So first, let's talk about some of these prizes. Some of y'all might not have been here when we talked about prizes, but there are some prizes. if you pop an exclamation prizes in the chat, you'll see a little link over there. We have, I believe the official term that CJ was using in the prize corner was budget day? Whatever
Budget
it is.
day.
Today's prizes are extremely cool and extremely valuable for how much you have to donate to get them. For just $3, you have a shot at 2 different Pokemon plushies.
I want them.
Those of you who don't follow Pokemon closely and don't get emails from the Pokemon Center, Pokemon Center plushies pretty much sell out faster than they get made.
That is true.
You have to be ready for drop day. You have to be like website already open, ready to go when it is time. And even then, you might miss out. They go fast. They dropped the new starters the other day and they were sold out within like 40 minutes or something. It's absurd. For only $3, you can get an 8-inch Oshawott plush or an 8-inch Alolan Vulpix plush, both of which are adorable. But is 8 inches not enough squeezable, cute Pokemon for you? Well, great news. For just $5, you can get a 13-inch Alolan Sandshrew or a 13-inch Piplup. Everybody loves a good Piplup. I believe Piplup was second place for the name of Crunchy in the difference.
Oh yeah, I noticed that too.
That was a good meme to name your starter a different starter.
Agreed.
But if you're feeling extra generous and the spirit moves you, for $25 and above, you will be entered to win a brand new Elgato Stream Deck. And you've heard me rant about it. You heard CJ rant about it. But Konception, do you use a Stream Deck?
I don't, only because I don't. I want to get one. I use one at work all the time for when I run streams at work, but I don't have one personally, and so my I have just been incentivized to donate even more. So yeah, get one.
Highly recommend them. It is one of the best purchases I've ever made for streaming and speedrunning. Lots of programmable keys, lots of integrations with various apps and various games. You can use it for speedrunning. You can use it to open up Twitch, go live, run ads. You can use it to automatically send tweets. You can use it to open up applications and get a game set up for you. You can use it to start, stop, split, skip, unsplit, reset your timer. You can use it for a timer to tell you how long Roshan's been dead if you play Dota. I have that on here. There's so many things that you can do with this thing. I just accidentally opened OBS because I was pressing buttons on mine. But it's that easy. You press one button, bam, OBS opens. And not only is this like a $200 piece of equipment that you can get for just $25, they're also currently sold out on Elgato's website. So you're getting something not only below cost, but possibly something that you can't get at cost right now.
Yes. Yep. Definitely agree. Definitely incentivized now to donate myself, so probably will be doing that. But back to the run here for a second. We are fighting Jupiter, who is the second of 3 Team Galactic bosses here. We will not be fighting the third one. And guess what? Guess what, everyone? If things go according to plan, and that is always a big if for me because movement is tough for me. But if things go according to plan, this is the final boss of this run. And you must be real confused as to how that is going to be, but you'll get the ability to see here in just a second if things go according to plan. Ooh, smoke screen's not great. All we got to do is hit though. Yeah, it's easy. Just hit every time and it's fine. There we go. So Jupiter's down. Now we're gonna have a little bit of a cutscene here where we interact with with Jupiter and everyone else, and we get the bike shop owner. Blah blah blah. We also need to go talk to the underground guy's house in order to progress that part of the story. Again, it will not let us leave or get the bike until we do so. Now I get the privilege of going through the extensive reason as to how we can finish the game from here within the next 9 minutes. So, Here's the deal. This is any percent, which means, of course, we need to complete the game as fast as possible. I never said anything about me needing to defeat all the gym leaders and defeat the Pokemon Center the normal way that you might be expecting. I did not say that. The whole purpose of us coming all the way to this point is so that we would unlock the bike, because the bike lets us do a very exploitable glitch that we in the community call tweaking. What tweaking is we use the speed of the bike in order to go across multiple load zones. Like we'll pinpoint areas that have a lot of load zones right next to each other, and then we'll go back and forth over those load zones in order to confuse the game into not really knowing where we are, because we keep crossing load zones back and forth. Based off of that, the game gets very confused and it starts putting us in areas that we shouldn't be able to access, or just otherwise incorrect for where we're located. And we're going to be utilizing that to basically glitch into the void and walk into the Hall of Fame without having to do all of the hard stuff. But all of that is, of course, dependent on getting the bike. And even further dependent on me not messing up the bike movement here. So I'm going to be going a little silent as I get through Cycling Road here for just 1 second. Okay, cool. All right. So yeah, that I very easily could have just hit a number of trainers there. I have to be very, very careful with my movement. Not save bag. I don't need to save here. We're going to use our bike from the bag here. You might be wondering why I don't like register the bike like you normally would, so I can just use like a button to get on the bike. But this is the only time that I need to press a button to get on the bike here. I don't have to worry about it otherwise. One thing I'd like to also mention as well, if you're more familiar with the run, especially, is there's actually a tweak that I can do on Cycling Road there that actually saves this whole encounter, and I don't have to talk to Lucas here and worry about all this stuff here. So if done optimally, it saves 45 seconds. However, that's if you get it the first try, which again, movement is not my strong suit when it comes to Pokemon speedrunning. That's worth mentioning. And then if you do it wrong, it becomes very simple for you to accidentally, and I'm gonna play it very cool here, there we go, to accidentally hit a trainer on that route instead. Luckily enough for us, we did not hit any extra trainers, so we presumably are in the clear from encounters. And now I'm gonna do the glitch. 1 second, please. No, that's not it. I think that's good. Let's see here. Yep, if we see this grass, we know we've done it correctly, because this is not where we are. The game is very confused right now. So we're actually going to save here, and we're going to buffer a soft reset on the console, and then things are going to get wild. So as soon as you saw where we saved, right? Everyone saw where we saved. Now check out where we load. We load inside of a building, but not really. And then when we exit that building, we can now walk in the void here. I'm just outside of a building. The game has no idea what I'm doing, and I'm going to be using a visual indicator here. So 1 second. Not Meadow, Balestone Store. There we go. Then we're going to be buffering a soft reset again. We're still going to be in the void, but we're actually in a different spot, and you just can't see it where we are exactly. But we only need to move one tile to the left, and you'll see the little sign change in the top left of the screen, so you'll get a sense as to where we are. Everyone calling me a cheater, yes. Yeah, I'm a dirty cheater, sure. And then one more soft reset of the console. He's a 10, but he thinks glitches are cheating. Very good, Happy. Very good. All right, and then once we get in here, all we got to hold is left to win. And voila, you can't see it on the screen. We're in utter blackness, but we are in the Hall of Fame. So please get ready on time. because it is in the next few seconds. You just got to get through this discussion. And here is our Monferno at level 25 that clearly defeated the Elite Four the way they're supposed to. And time. Ooh. So, yeah, that is Pokemon Pearl Any Manipless. It has a lot of what you come to expect from Pokemon, battles and tight routing and interesting movement and things like that, but it throws in the little hitch there that we glitched right to the end after Gym 2. It definitely escalated quickly. I'm glad that I was still able to finish underestimate. You never know with Pokemon, but we are pretty much in the clear here. So thank you so much to the SpeedDocs crew for having me. I really appreciate it. They're some of the friendliest people that I've had the pleasure of working with in the past, and have done a lot of speedrun marathons. As you can tell, we're now at 100. Even by the end of this weekend, I'll be at 102. So I've done many marathon runs, and they're always one of my favorites to work with. Thank you so much for having me and letting me be a part of it. Thank you so much to also, if you caught it this morning, I was able to do a little interview with Cece. Thank you so much for allowing me to and talking to me about all that, because that made me feel especially appreciated and special and desired in the community, which you never know. Sometimes people don't feel like they have a place within the communities they belong in, but they help me feel like I do. If you're interested in learning the speedrun, in terms of Pokemon speedruns, I'll go as far as to say I might think this is the most accessible Pokemon speedrun to learn. The barrier to entry is very low. And of course, emulators are accepted as well if you don't need to have the money to, fork out buying a Pokemon cartridge, which is expensive, and getting a DS capture card and all that. So you can just look us up on speedrun.com. This is actually a category extension of Diamond and Pearl. If you go to the main board, you can get into the Discord and ask questions and stuff like that, and you'll get the direction pointed to you. But you'll specifically want to find Diamond and Pearl category extensions, and then look for Any Manipless if you'd like to find some guides and things like that to get you started. But other than that, my name is Konception. You can follow me at twitch.tv/Konception. You can find me on Twitter and YouTube at KonceptionSR, because Konception was taken. And yeah, just thank you all so much for having me, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of weekend 2 here.
Yeah, thank you. That was fantastic. I was definitely one of those looking at the estimate and looking at the time and thinking like, okay, is this one of those Pokemon runs that's just bad RNG? Oh, nope, never mind. The game's over.
Oh, it was plenty bad. Don't worry. My PB for this is a 105 for reference, so I finished 11 minutes over my PB. But yeah, I knew that could happen. That's why the estimate is so generous. So
fair. We love a generous estimate. It was fantastic. It was a very fun run. And congrats again on your 100th.
Thank you.
And
appreciate
good luck on 101 and 102.
Much appreciated.
And in the meantime, we are going to throw it over to a quick advertisement while we set up for the next run, Pokemon Snap. So we will send that over there. And